We got the brand new Evolution power saw, the one that's made for metal, 14-inch blade. They say it's heavy duty, but I bought it to put it to the test. And today we're gonna assemble it. Hopefully that goes easy. Usually, if things are packaged right, it can go pretty quick. I guess we'll see. Along with the Evolution chop saw, which is what's in this box, I ended up buying just the regular blades they come with instead of the Evo blades they now come with, or that you can now buy. I think I'll try these out. I've used these on regular miter saws and they work really well, but you also tear up your regular miter saw. With this, I also bought the stand that's made for it. I was going to make my own stand for this, but right now we're in the process of buying another house that has a shop on the property, and right now I just kind of need stuff that's mobile. So we're gonna go ahead and put this together and see what a pain it's gonna be or how easy it's gonna be. Already it looks like it might be a pain. I know that when you get things you kind of wish that they're put together. Looks like it's got probably about 16 things to do. I know if you're like me, you kind of wish that when you open these boxes that everything was ready to just snap together. Lots of cardboard for the burn pile. Looks like we got some wheels in the box. I have to say those are pretty heavy duty wheels compared to what's on my miter saw stands that are made for cutting wood. Got some handles in here that need to get put on. Some more mystery boxes. Hopefully, even though it's 9,000 pieces, they're all here. Open these up and set them out. Looks like a bunch of knobs and bolts. I'm sure some of you guys out there are like me and you try to put a Diablo blade or Evolution blade on a regular miter saw. I have to say it worked for a while, but the problem with that is the speed of the regular wood cutting miter saws is too high, and the regular miter saws have a lot of plastic on them, which ends up melting from all the sparks. Get that out of the way. Registration sheet for your warranty. All right, let's see what we got to do. It says start with putting it together. Doesn't say that. All right, so we got to find your ends. A and F. A. Hopefully I don't have a bunch of parts left over when I get done with this. So that is the which end? The end with a bow on it. And that is, they want me to leave it facing down. Neither one of these have threads. Gonna set this out. Well, that obviously doesn't go on that end, so that means that goes on the other end. Look at that. I guess if there's only one way to do it, that makes life easier. Stops me from having to take it all apart and make you guys watch 10 different videos. Hopefully when this thing is together and going, cuts everything I need to cut. I do have a jet bandsaw, which everybody knows takes about 10 hours to cut something. Jet makes great tools, just bandsaws of any brand that are the smaller bandsaws take forever. All right, step 1 complete. Step 2 is jumping straight to putting some wheels on. It says we need 2 of the D-bolts, which look like these big old monsters. Let's see if they need washers. Does not show washers, but it does show that it needs the 2 nuts, and then that they come with. Okay. I don't know if these come with an option to buy them pre-put together, but that should be a thing. All right. That side lined up. Get the other side lined up. Why, I'm just running out of room in this garage. All right, those are together but not tightened. Now we're on to step 3, which is flip it over, and looks like the handle with 2 of A and F's, which are again just like the piece I put on the other side with the Phillips head screwdriver. Looks like a pretty good finish. Evolution definitely put their brand on it, that's for sure. And the handle goes facing up. It shows it sitting up, but the screws actually go in from underneath. So that's definitely my fault for not catching that. Lines up nice. Definitely some heavy duty wheels. I believe online it says that this bench can hold something like 600 pounds or something, which is convenient for when I have the super thick flat stock on here, or working with maybe a 20-foot stick of like 1/2 inch tube. I really don't know what I would feel comfortable putting on here, or putting on any saw that weighed 600 pounds. I mean, that's literally about the equivalent of 2 10-foot sheets of 1/4 inch steel. All right, those are tightened in there. Underneath this saw, they got like a little lift, little gas shock that looks maybe like a lift assist, like you'd put on the back of a car or a trunk hatch. So now it says we're going into step 4, to where we stand it down or set it down and stand it up. Just get their fancy box out of the way. It doesn't say in the instructions how to stand it up, but there's this big old handle. Look at that. Slides pretty smooth, lifts up by itself. Be cool if I could do that with 600 pounds on it. Let's see, now it's already got the rod installed. Step 5, step 6. Shows nubs on the bottom. I guess what it's trying to say is possibly that this handle right here might control, I don't know. That pulls out. I guess both sides pull out. So the next thing we're going to do is, it shows to put the little tiny plastic handle on there with 2 of the B2s. Oh, that's pretty simple. I'm sure there's actually a diagram in here that says how long the B2s are supposed to be, since none of them seem to be labeled on the actual package. I'm probably overlooking it, but I'm sure it's in here somewhere. And the book, it just has a section that shows item numbers. So I guess we're gonna look at where it goes, which is whichever side you want by the knobs. Well, that ain't gonna fly. All right, found the B2s. Even though they didn't label everything very well, everything's been created in a fashion that you really can't get it wrong. Like these are the only screws that are long enough to go through it, that are Phillips head to fit down in. the grooves in the handle and that don't take a nut because the threads are a part of the miter saw stand. All right, so that's done. Now we're on to setting the sides up. Gotta put one of these in here. Doesn't look like there's a specific way. Even though I haven't got to it yet, you know how things go. You go ahead and stick the one on the other side. All right, so this is where those threaded handles go. I'm sure there's a term for it. These guys. Those are to control how far you want your arms out. Looks like there's one that goes in each end to control your height. I really feel like they could have made that tolerance a lot better. I don't know if you guys can see that, but these things actually wobble worse than my rigid saw, my rigid miter saw for cutting trim and stuff. I'm sure in theory they're thinking that if once you crank down on these handles that they won't wobble that much, but it sure does leave room for a lot of wear and tear in the future. Even with them tight, they still. So I don't know about this whole putting 600 pounds on it. I'll have to look that up and see exactly what the amount is. Might be quite a bit. Now it looks like we are probably moving to the end pieces. Yep. So we got your metal stops. Everybody knows what those are, I'm sure. And let's see if I can lift this up a little bit so they can actually fit. Let's see which one is gonna go down in there. I'm guessing these probably show that they have, yep, they go from the other side, and the threaded handles are what hold them on. This stand would probably be great for people that need a mobile stand. I do know that in the future I'm gonna have to definitely build something heavier duty for something that's stationary and then I can actually clamp full sticks to while I cut them. All right, now that that's all on, lock that down so it doesn't wobble all over the place. I can say that even though it gives you an option to put this handle on either side, if you put it on the side closest to the front of the saw, there's no room to crank down your handle that locks your rails into place. So now that that's all put together, Now we're moving to the actual saw. All right. So of course I already opened all this to make sure everything's in there. Again, bunch of parts. Bunch of parts. So you got your clamping arms, which is definitely a feature that a regular miter saw doesn't have. Alright, set all this up on the workbench. Comes with a fancy paper, shows you what they feel is the correct way to cut metal. Which I think most people learn the first time their piece of metal bucks out of their hand. There she is. An Evolution 14-inch metal cutting miter saw. Looks like she's definitely in a few pieces. But companies really don't put much together anymore. There's the saw base. Looks like those holes will work for me. Seems pretty good to me. Let's see now. Grab some instructions for the miter saw itself. Well, this is an instruction manual of how to use it. Let's see. I already went through this one, that's for the stand. I'm guessing they included the instructions for building this. With the manual. So that definitely goes in the back. Okay, so they want me to put my saw on first, the top of my saw. Can't say it slides pretty nice. Alright, so next we got these, which fasten to the back. Two Allen or hex screws to hold the stop on the back. The stop is obviously created to stop your saw from coming off the end of the guides and as a anti-tip. All right. Slide's nice. Now we just gotta see what they want us to do next. That's probably my warranty information fell on the ground. Up. Number 4, you gotta pull it's got a safety tab on the slide locker on the back that it wants you to pull out. There you go. Now it can lock. Works as it should. Now we're on to dropping the front guide on. Let's go ahead and drop it back down in there. All right. And this comes with some more of these that screw into the front here for you to adjust it. All right. You know what it didn't say yet? Instructions to mounting the saw to the stand, but yet those fasteners I just put in will more than likely get in the way of that. And of course you got your clamps that go on your rail. Just like that. There's one. Two. Also comes with a few metal grips. These are used to put on the tip of your arms. Definitely good if you're using like round stock or anything like that kind of holds it better than a flat surface. They sure left me with a bunch of boxes to burn. If anybody needs some boxes, just hit me up in the comments. I'll put return to sender and put your address. All right, I'm not sure where that one goes. All right, so that's what it looks like all assembled, minus the blade. I'm gonna go ahead and tighten everything down and throw the blade on it and give you guys a demonstration here in a minute. Be back with you. All right, so we got everything tightened down. Got our standard Evolution 14-inch mild steel cutting blade on. I think it's, yeah, 66 teeth. Got us a piece of 1x4 mild steel flat stock on there, a piece from a project I just finished. You guys really should have seen me trying to cut this with the bandsaw. Took all day. I actually made a video on it that I didn't post because it took so long. So we're going to test out this new Evolution saw. Get it moved forward to where it cuts where I need it to. Lock it in place. All right, here we go. We're going to try to cut this 1-inch by 4-inch mild steel flat stock. Here we go. All right, took about 30 seconds. It's cool to the touch. Works for me. So if you guys are having any issues with your, especially with your thicker stuff you're trying to cut, obviously this option works. If you're worried about your blade not lasting very long, teeth still look perfect. I don't see any dents or dips or discoloring or chips. If you're worried about your blade not lasting long, maybe purchase one of their new Evo blades made for like 3,600 cuts. I've seen some pretty impressive videos of what those are able to do. I'll probably be upgrading when we move to the new property to the upgraded blades. For now, that's it. Thank you guys.